One word. One word. Yes. It's a little bit crazy to think that just a text that says yes could turn your life upside down. Let me explain. So, I wanted to talk about where we go from here. But then it occurred to me that many of you won't even know how I got here in the first place. To be honest, I don't even know how I got here, where I am sometimes. So I'm going to try and keep this brief, but we're going to go back. I'm going to fill you in with the backstory. So grab a cup of tea or beverage of your choice, and I'm just going to bring you up to speed because I think it will help to understand where we go from here. I came to Portugal with not much of a plan, a bit of a loose plan. I was going to see how things panned out. One thing I did have in mind and what I did think I would do was find a place to live, a place to buy, not rent because I hate renting, but let things kind of flow and go in whichever direction they went, roughly keeping me on a path of changing to a different lifestyle. However, there are so many reasons why that just really went out the window, but I did think we'd be here all day if I tried to explain that one. Maybe we will in future videos. But one thing that threw me way off course was I ended up nomadic. 3 years full-time house sitting. Now I always wanted to house sit long as soon as I first decided that I was going to come to Portugal. Even before COVID I actually had house sits booked in, and I always knew I would house sit as a way of getting to know Portugal, get to know areas with in mind of where I might want to settle and stay. Never in a million years did I think I would end up nomadic. I see people doing that van life and all that sort of thing, and that thing has never interested me. So I never thought in a million years that I would end up 3 years full-time house sitting, living out of my car, nomadic, but I did. And doing that 3 years, I mean, one, it was just wonderful seeing the whole of Portugal. I literally have house sat from down in the Algarve and stayed right up in the north. I've just been all over. I've done every single region. And one of the things it meant as well was just meeting so many people and hearing everybody's different moving to Portugal stories, because obviously the people that I was house sitting for were always immigrants as well, all sorts of nationalities, whose stories I used to like to hear. I used to ask questions and find out about why they live where they live, why they moved to Portugal, all the normal stuff. So very inquisitive. Sorry for all those people that have been questioned by me. As well as talking to other people, many of whom I have shared on the channel. But before that, before I went full-time house sitting, I was renting somewhere, and these 2 dogs, now known as Terry Waite and Nelson Mandela, named after human captives because they were captive. I lived next door to them, and I used to walk them because they was just in a horrible situation, and found out that they were really lovely dogs, and I just wanted to get them out of there. I mean, I'll show you how they used to live, where they used to live. I just wanted to get them out of that hellhole of a situation. I couldn't get anywhere with the owner, and I did have somebody who was willing to, would have loved to give them a home. They just recently lost their rescue dog to cancer and wanted to home another one. Met them, liked them, was happy and looking forward to homing them. But it wasn't going to happen. The owner was not having it. He wanted to keep these dogs in this cage for whatever reason is beyond us. We forgive. But I kept on pestering. I kept this up for 3 years. Then one day, I'm on a house sit. I'd previously sent one of my texts, oh, is he going to let me have them dogs yet, give them a better life? Then I get this text back that says, yes. Now bear in mind, I've been at this for 3 years, and the text didn't say good news, or he's changed his mind, or you wouldn't believe what the answer is this time. It was just yes. And I thought, does she mean yes, I can take the dogs? Anyway, that's the text that turned my life upside down, because obviously 3 years down the line, this home that was ready and waiting for them was no longer available. So I had no choice but to take them myself. There was no way I was going to sort of turn around and say, oh, sorry, I don't want them now. I mean, I was just so happy to get them out of there. I just wanted to get them out of there. It took over my heart, body and soul to get them out of that hellhole. Those dogs were just desperate to get out, and just the fact that I could get them out, it didn't matter the situation I was in, I was just going to get them. So I had to quickly, ASAP, find somewhere to live. And I found somewhere to live. Obviously it had to be suitable, somewhere with a garden, but I had to find somewhere ASAP, which I did, and got the dogs. And then we started our new hectic life together. Remembering that I really am not in a position to home 2 dogs. But the priority was to give them a decent life and to see them happy. You wouldn't believe the life they're leading now. We'll get to that in a minute. So I found this rental. I stayed there for 8 months. I had planned on staying there for a bit longer, but circumstances meant that I wanted to leave, and I then went on to stay with a friend who had a holiday rental available over the winter, because she only did holiday rentals in the summer. So we then moved there and stayed there. So when that period came to an end, I started looking for another rental, thinking that I'd be able to find somewhere, not easily, but I thought I'd be able to find somewhere, but oh no, could not find anywhere. Somewhere suitable for 2 dogs, somewhere within my budget. Don't forget, I have not suddenly magically got the means to get a big house with a garden for 2 dogs. I only need something small. I was actually, at the time I got the yes to take the dogs, thinking of getting a place, and I had seen places, been offered places. Actually, since having the dogs, I have been offered great places, 300, 400 euros a month, small, just studios, bills included, but they would only be suitable for me. If it was just me, they would have been perfect, but they don't, because of the no garden, no fencing, other animals around, they're just not suitable with the dogs, one of which has a little psychopath when it comes to other animals. I'll tell you something in a minute. But there was another option which I had planned to take up, which was to go up to northern Portugal and look after an empty farm property. It had featured on the channel before. Sadly, the owner has died away and it's been sitting there empty, and a friend of the family had talked to me before, because they knew I did house sitting and stuff, about maybe looking after the place. So that was a plan. But then I got a very sick dog. We had lots of vet visits. He ended up having surgery. I then had lots of vet visits following, and post-surgery appointments, which delayed me going up there. And there was only a short window that I was going to stay up there. So with the delay and the kind of like trauma of the vet, I mean, I was actually, for about 2 weeks, every single day, either speaking to the vet on the phone or visiting. I just don't know, I was backwards and forwards to that vet so often. And so one, it delayed the going up to northern Portugal. And 2, it really did make me think, gosh, if this had happened up there, I would have been, trust me, on my own, looking after the farm, 2 dogs, one who I've got to keep well away from the sheep and contained on the farm in the small garden area of the farm, and But mainly it was the delay because I had a couple of appointments a good month or so after the operation. I didn't want to just go to any old other vet after that. But anyway, long story short, I decided that going up there would not serve me well. I wanted to stay where I at least knew some people and had a little bit of a support network. So then the hunt for a rental continued, and I tell you, 2 dogs, needing a garden with 2. First of all, there's a whole load of listings that immediately are dismissed. They're not available to me because they say no pets, no pets, no pets, let alone 2. Then there was the problem that I needed a garden, and a garden usually meant Portugal houses are very big anyway. So with a garden, it meant a huge place that I did not need. I also did have some really lovely, affordable options, but the little psychopath Nelson just wasn't suitable. There's cats around, there's animals around, fencing wasn't secure enough for him. I just don't think, when I say what he's like, people just aren't grasping it, and they just don't get it until they've met him. Anyway, so then I'd had other offers. A friend had said, oh, I could stay with her, but it's a shame, I've got a cat, and so that wouldn't be suitable. But then my other friend had said she would look after, Nelson could stay with her a bit. She lived downstairs from where I was staying, and she said, until I get myself sorted out, Nelson can stay with her a bit. Oh God, oh dear, how that's panned out is something else. But which meant that I could then stay with my friend who had the cat. And how things work out, Terry has been an absolute darling. I mean, I knew Terry was okay with cats, so I could sort of trust him, but I didn't realise just what a little star he would be. He's been amazing. This cat was obviously petrified of Terry because this cat had only just got used to people. It was petrified of all people, anyone that come to the house, 4-legged or 2-legged. So to see them just get along more and more day by day, it's just been lovely. It then panned out that she then needed to go down to the Algarve to work, but wouldn't have been able to do that because of the cat. So I've kind of ended up cat sitting, and I'm so lucky that I've got the place to myself. And not that there's anything wrong with sharing with her, but you know what it's like, we're set in our ways, so it is nice to have a place to yourself when that's what you're used to. So this is where we are at now. Terry is with me, being an absolute star, living with a cat for the first time, and living indoors full time for the first time now, because they was always outside dogs. He's been an absolute star. Nelson. Oh my goodness. So I have to go up and collect Nelson every day and take him for his morning walk and his evening walk. He's just up a 2-minute drive up the road, because although my friend's happy to look after him and that, she'll take him for a little walk, but she doesn't do long walks. So I go up, take Nelson for a walk every day. Anyway, the other day I said to her, sorry, I'm not going to be able to take Nelson for his evening walk today. I'd taken him out in the morning, but I couldn't take him for his evening walk. And she says, oh, don't worry, he's by the pool with my guests, living his best life. So what he does, he's living the life of his dreams. He got himself a girlfriend, although she doesn't live in the village permanently, so he was going off missing. I had to get them air tags because that's another story. I'll put the links to some of the videos I've done about them before if you are interested in. But they both have air tags. They don't really need them now, but there was a time when they could have done with tracking. But so Nelson takes him off for walks as he feels like it, comes back, sometimes goes off for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, comes back. One day she called me to say, can you just look on your app to see where Nelson is. So I look on the app and I say, oh, I know that place. That's where his girlfriend is. I don't think she lives there permanently. I think she just visits. I sent her the location. She went out to look for him, couldn't find him. And I said, well, according to the app, he's still there. I said, I can't do anything for a couple of hours, but I'll go out and look for him then. A couple of hours later, I look at the app, it's still in the same place. So I go there, I get to the place, I think, no sign of Nelson. I look up the driveway, and there is Nelson in the house of this dog, right up the end of the driveway, lying down next to, two of them, lying down next to his girlfriend, the two of them just lying there. And then he kept on going off, and I said to my friend, you wait, he'll start howling soon, like they did last year. And sure enough, a couple of days later, she sends me this clip. But luckily, that phase is over. I think it lasted about 2 weeks or so. But as I said, Nelson is living the life of his dreams. He goes on long walks with me. He just takes himself out in the woods because they're right at the edge of the village, no one around. He's got himself a friend. There's another rescue dog who, when we used to see them out on walks, they were both as crazy as one another, but they've both really calmed down now. They're the best of buddies now, so he goes to visit him. Oh, and can I just tell you something else? So I went back to where they were held captive the other day, and obviously the people there was like, oh, where's the little one? Where's the other dog? And I explained, he doesn't live with me. I'm just with Terry, and explained obviously he can't live with me because I'm staying somewhere with a cat. And then the landlady said, oh yeah, he was always terrible, that little one. I could have killed him, her exact words. He killed my ducks, he killed my chickens, he killed my rabbits, he ripped the face off one of my sheep, and it had to all be stitched back up. So when I went back to my friend Maria, who's Nelson's temporary foster guardian, and relayed her back to this, let me just remind you, I said, oh yeah, I was just talking to the landlady where he used to live, and I said what I just said. He killed her ducks, he killed her rabbits, he killed her chickens, he ripped the face of one of her sheep. Guess what her response was? Oh, poor Nelson. I was like, hang on, poor Nelson, that's not the response I was expecting. What about the poor sheep and the chicken and the goats and the duck and the rabbits? And she said, yeah, but he's so intelligent. He must have been going crazy locked up in that cage because he's so clever. And he is. So this is the impression Nelson leaves on people. She is amazed at how intelligent he is, how good he is, how calm he is, and he loves people. He is good. He's good around people. He doesn't have the anxiety he used to have because he knows he's not only safe with me, he is safe with other people. Other people look after him, other people love him, other people care for him, and he is feeling very at peace with the world, very much secure, which is how we're supposed to make dogs feel. We are the leader, we are their guardians, we are supposed to make them feel safe, confident, happy and secure, which Nelson does. And Terry is having the time of his life because I've only got the one dog now, he just comes with me everywhere. And you'll usually find him with his head out of the car window, just taking in life. He loves it. He actually needs a pair of doggy goggles because sometimes when we're going along the motorway, he wants his head out the window, but he's blowing his eyeballs out. But he is enjoying exploring Portugal with me. He's been all over from the coastline, he's been to the market, he'll join me for lunch, visiting friends, looking around farms. He's even been camping, but he is having a whale of a time. So another thing about where we are and why we are here and where we go from here is housing. Portuguese houses, I don't know how to put it. My personality, my desires, and the things that I have dug up from deep within that have changed me beyond all recognition, to be honest. I don't even recognise myself. I'm going to talk about that next time. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But that's how we got here. Where we go from here. Sometimes I think, hell, I haven't got a clue. I do not know. I am not a magician, and I cannot magic up the resources to care, to provide care for 2 dogs to a standard that I think dogs deserve. But we're scrambling through. We're working out. It's you know, nobody's died yet. Everybody is healthy and well. The dogs are living their best life at the moment. I have until October before I have to get Nelson back. But next video we'll talk some more. We'll talk about the next stage before, but where we go from here, as I said, who knows? Things will just work out, even if it's very last minute. Things will unfold the way they will unfold. I will tell you what I've been up to, what I've been doing, what I am planning. But we still need to look at why. I'll see you in the next video. We'll talk about that next time. Bloody dog. Poor thing. Nelson. You're a bloody maniac. Hope she can get back down again. Poor thing. Come on. Let's leave her to come back down. Honestly. Come on. Leave it. Chase the poor cat up the tree.